All right. How to plan your advertising for the holidays with SEO. I don't know why I am ring, but I think it would be really nice if you learn something new and you can take your time to understand it. So this is going to be a good room that you are going to enjoy. So let's get back to the program, okay? Okay. So I just wanted to thank you so much for spending the time with me today because we are going to be in this room talking about something that you are going to enjoy. And I want you to enjoy this conversation because I'm working on a schedule that is going to really help you get your business out there and get your connections out there. So if you're going to do this correctly, we're going to do this the right way. And welcome, Abidemi. Thank you for joining and welcome to Clubhouse. I see you got a party hat on, so welcome. Whenever I see a party hat, I want to acknowledge you. So we're going to be here for a good amount of time. And I haven't done this for a while. So if you are here, please join the room. Please connect. Please raise your hand. Put it in the chat if you have any questions because today's room is going to be really hot. I'm going to talk about some things. I was like, what should I talk about today? And this came to mind because everybody's planning their holidays. They're planning their packages. They're planning their incentives. They're planning things. And I'm like, what are we doing? What's the great cause? What's the real thing that we're trying to achieve? Right? Like, are we hitting those goals? One of my goals was to hit or is to hit 10,000 followers on LinkedIn. And I was stuck at 6,000 for about probably 3-4 years. And this year in January, I said, I'm going to have to switch that up. And I'm literally 30 followers away from 10,000. So I'm really excited about sharing these goals with you. Welcome, Naza, to this space where you can really learn something about, how to plan. Because one of the things I'm going to be talking about in the planning phase today is Pinterest. So I specifically did planning there for a reason, because I want you to learn how to, expand your brand. Welcome, Ty. Welcome, Cami. To expand your brand, right? So that you can build it. So yeah, Dylan, thank you so much for saying that. Yeah, it's so untapped. It's literally the icing on the cake. Whenever I tell people Pinterest, they're like, oh, like I've never had a bad vibe about Pinterest. And most people don't really know that there's a Pinterest business account, right? And people go to Pinterest to plan. Like people were planning for Christmas trees in July. That happens, right? Because people plan. If you're going for a concert, a flight, a hotel, a conference, you plan, right? If you're planning for, a house, to buy a house, you're going to plan your credit. You're going to plan your way to connect. If you're going to get a job, you're going to plan how you're going to, put your resume. If you're going to get a business, you're going to plan. You're going to plan. And if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. It's the binary code. So you're going to plan your advertising for the holidays with search engine optimization. It's a no-brainer. When you look at Google Images, you get to see majority of those images coming from Pinterest. If they're not coming from Pinterest, they're probably coming from a YouTube thumbnail. They're probably coming from a blog thumbnail. They're probably coming from, a snapshot of something that is referring to the context. So you have to think about that. Yeah, I'm using AI to optimize SEO. Yes, I am, Dylan. 80% women, demographics, and retail are heavy. Yes. People don't think about it though. Just because they think it's a it's a tool, people don't even know the details about it. With our clients, we connect them to, we work with Pinterest staff, and we are able to, make sure that your Pinterest is doing well, and it's alive, right? It's connected, it's capturing data, because when you retarget, Pinterest is the perfect place for retargeting campaigns. I don't know if you've ever known that. Right now, Apple is going crazy with the iPhones, right? Even before the Apple iPhone, let me not say iPhone, the Apple event happened, right? Right before that happened, on Pinterest, they were running ads. So I always know on Pinterest they run ads every September. It's like I knew it in August. I was like, okay, Apple is coming in September, and they are there. They're literally on your feed. If you go to Pinterest right now, you'll see them, right? And when Dylan's saying about the percentage of women, yes, it's true, but also children are on Pinterest, men are on Pinterest. So, I mean, it's like saying TikTok is for kids, or LinkedIn is for jobs, or Snapchat is for kids, or Facebook is for elderly people, Instagram is for Gen Z. Like, there's always a tagline, right? Clubhouse is for everyone. Like, there's always going to be something. This is for that, that is for this. But at the end of the day, it's a website. It's a domain, it's SEO, it's search, it's a community, it's a product, right? So if your product is going to be on those platforms, then how do your platform show up? And before you leave this room, click the link above, and that's going to take you to a page that's going to allow you to learn about workshops that I'm going to be coming up with. And there's going to be a schedule. You know how, you see there's a tour date and their dates? There's going to be something like that for workshops this holiday. And I'm excited about it because this holiday, October, this last quarter, October, November, December, I'm heavily going to be focusing on content. So if this is your first time listening to me, I've been here since 2021 in this house, Marketing Club, as a leader, but I've been on Clubhouse since November 2020. So this house is closing in on 350K members. We're at 349.7K. So I always connect with new people, great minds. Great minds think alike. So it's iron sharpens iron. So I'm really glad that you are all here as well. Dylan asked, do you focus on SEO by products, by categories, by blogs, discussing products? Great question. And please, guys, put your questions in there because this is going to help me help you, right? So we can also connect. And if you want to come up, please follow me, connect, and let's stay connected. I do have a podcast as well called We Don't Play. And if you go to wedon'tplaypodcast.com, you'll see all the things that we're doing there. We're top 3% globally. We have over 400 episodes. We're in season 9, and we are in 117 countries. So tap in because a lot of good conversations are going on there. So to your question, Dylan, I use AI to optimize SEO by creating content that allows people to see it. Actually, let me give you a very simple example. So for my podcast, actually, let me even make it more visual. The link you see above here, that thumbnail you see is an AI generated image that I prompted, right? And because Instagram has partnered with Pinterest, if you have a Pinterest business account and you connect your Pinterest business with your Instagram, anytime you post something from your Instagram, it automatically pushes the actual file, the source file, to Pinterest. And when you get on Pinterest, it actually goes there and it stays there. So if you have a carousel, it's just going to all flood in there, which is so cool. So you even get to connect with more people at a faster time so that if you're just doing things, you're always building them in between time. So if you're using Pinterest to plan your advertising, if you're using not even Pinterest, you can use Google, YouTube, Reddit, LinkedIn, you can go anywhere and plan. But this is the key thing that I want you to note. And I'll give you an example. There's a client where we're about to build her website. She's in real estate. And Yeah, when did they make that partnership? A lot has been going on. Yeah, I talked about a TikTok, Amazon partnership with Pinterest. Like TikTok shopping is going to integrate with Amazon. You're going to be shopping on Pinterest. It's a whole different world. So there's a lot to research. That's why I'm saying, guys, if you want exclusive updates, because I do a lot of research, please click the link above, follow me, and connect. So when you are using your content, like the way I'm showing you up here with this AI image that I generated, I prompted it and I wanted someone to, be at a workshop because there are so many tools. If you look at this thumbnail, there are so many tools. Like the guy is stressed. If you look at him, he's at the corner by the left, looking down, just staring away, and he's just like, what did I get myself into? Because all those tools that I'm just looking at it as well. All those tools they're daunting because all of them have something that they can do, right? It's not about what you have, it's how you use what you have, right? So if you can't use any of those tools, you can't impact anybody. You can't connect with anybody, right? So I want it to be workshops made easy. That's why the title is Workshops Made Easy. And if you're planning for your advertising for the holidays with SEO, you're thinking about keywords, right? Because when you focus your SEO on products, you're actually naming your products. When you're told to name a product, you're naming it based on the value that you're giving it, right? So if I'm naming this red cup, right? Or a red mug or a red vase or a red tumbler or a red jacket, and then I would say maybe burgundy shoes, right? Those specific words have pixels in them. I've talked about this before in one of my rooms on how to make sure your titles, you'll focus on your pixels. Because when you write emails, right, it has a file size. When you name a product, when you have content, especially when you have metadata, those things have quality, right? So there's SEO embedded into those pieces, right? So if you're creating content and you're advertising for the holidays, the major thing that you should be thinking about is what are you going to be talking about that is in relevance to the community you are serving, in the hopes of and with the plan of giving information that's going to educate them, inspire them, and transform their thinking by using your product as a way to get a means to getting more satisfaction for their thought process when they're taking that process from ideation phase to execution phase. So if they're thinking, I want to buy an air fryer, right? And you have an air fryer that you want to sell, how does your air fryer stand out from that other person's air fryer, right? What do you do about it, or what do you do with it, right? So your marketing has to make sense. And that's where keyword research comes in. So I'll give you 3 ways you can plan. We're going to do this quickly. 3 ways you can plan. The first way you can plan your advertising, right, is by, I'm going to give you very simple examples, very simple examples. How to plan your advertising, because you plan by thinking, by processing, by jotting down, it's not the final thing, right? So the first thing on how to plan your advertising is you focus on the ABCD method or the ABC method, right? When you think about the ABC method, right, your ABC method is, let's say you sell, let's do air fryers since we talked about air fryers, right? If you sell air fryers, go to google.com, right? Go to google.com and I'm going to give you a really special, hold on. I'm going to give you a really special tool here. There we go. If you've ever used Google before, this is going to be the best way you can use Google. I'm going to copy this in my clipboard and I'm going to paste it in the chat. Here we go. Boom. Here you go. All right. I'm going to come to your question, Dylan. So that's an advanced search. If you've ever used Google Advanced Search, try that out. It's free, right? And you want to plan your advertising by doing the ABC method or using the ABC method. How do you use the ABC method? I'm going to do this right now with you. So I'm looking for the words air fryer, right? And I'm under the section that says all these words. So I'm looking for the one that says air fryer, right? And then I want to narrow it down because we're talking about the holidays, right? So I'm not just trying to figure out who's, trying to look for this or that. I'm going to look at the past year because right now it's the last update is set to anytime. Anytime means anytime. Literally, I can't even go past that, right? So you want your last update to be past year. So we're talking about September 28th, 2024, and going back to September 28th, 2023, right? So now I'm thinking about air fryers. Now, where it says any of these words, I'm now going to put in that section, right? By, right? That was not a song. That was a special effect from Clubhouse with a rewind selected tune. So I wanted to rewind because I'm taking you guys back a year. So air fryer, buy, and then the word is in between that is or, purchase. Because I'm telling you guys, if you sell air fryers, this is what you should be doing. But you replace air fryers and put your business or put your product. Buy, purchase, or I'll put discount because those are the words people like to use for the holidays. All right, so buy, purchase, or discount. Now, I've done it in the past year. And then where it says terms appearing, it means that I'm looking for it in the URL of the page. Now, this is the key factor that if you miss the whole boat. You miss the ship, you miss the ride, you miss the shot, you miss the goal, you miss the target. This thing right here, where it says terms appearing, there's a section that says anywhere in the page. I don't want anywhere because if it's anywhere, I'm gonna get anything, right? So we're not trying to be broad or ambiguous. We're trying to be specific. So that specificity allows you to know exactly what you're looking for. And we're using the advanced search I'm putting in the chat. So I'm going to click on URL of the page. And then where it says file format, there are different file formats. So I don't want to butcher that. So I'm going to leave that open. And now I'm going to click advanced search. Boom. There we go. Now I have a Google search result with air fryers. I don't even know why I said air fryers, but let's go. In the past year, because Google is a website. Sometimes when we look at Google with one eye instead of two eyes. I'm serious because when you look at the word Google, the O's are showing two eyes, the red and the orange, the red and the yellow. Sorry, right? So it's blue, red, orange, blue, green, red. That's how it goes. So now in the past year, there have been 2,070 results about air fryers. So I have a business. I want to sell air fryers to my community. And I want them to know that I have air fryers that would, are the best deals in town. So now the first thing I see on Google is not even before I even get to the actual products, I'm seeing something right below where it says past year, because sometimes we forget that section that says past year. Now, when you click on the filters, it even says refine results. So am I looking for 1 to 2 gallons, 2 quarts to, 1.3 gallons? Am I looking for under 2.6 quarts? Am I looking for a turkey fryer, a dual basket, or aluminum? Like, what am I looking for? Is it over $100 or is it under $100? Like, the specificity is going to be the best thing that you can do. Then when it says stores, right? There's stores. There's Walmart, there's Home Depot, there's Target, there's Best Buy. And then when you click see more, you see everything else, right? Power consumption, the number of watts, right? free shipping, the height, right? The width, the cooking method. Is it a convection? Is it a broiler? Right? And then you can check that. The depth, how deep is it? Is it 12 to 6 inches? Is it over 16 inches? And then the brand, you get to see the top brands, right? There are 30 brands. There are 30 air fryer brands. So this is now where we're going to get very specific. Just replace air fryers with your business or with your product. Now, if I know that Google has 2,000 results in the last year, and this is free information, y'all. I'm not using any tools or any chat GPT. This is Google. This is real. This is something you can do today. So just follow this, rewind this, and try it out and see if you can plan your advertising like they are, right? So success leaves clues. So there are 30 brands. 30 brands. There's Ninja, there's Bella, Cuisine Art. Now there is Aroma. Of course, there are many others as well. So, and I'm getting a call. So if I'm breaking, guys, please let me know. So when you look at all these things, you're thinking about like the top results, right? Now, when you have all these brands, thank you, because I have that bar in there. So when you're thinking about this, right? The brands that you're using, right? And the brands that you're creating and experiences for, right, are going to be very important. So these 30 brands, you as a business is probably going to have one of these brands, either as a drop shipper or as a vendor, or you're a wholesaler or a retailer or supplier, whatever, wherever it falls, you're going to end up with a brand that you're going to sell, right? And if you're selling air fryers and it's your air fryer, then you want to create that expression, you want to create that experience. So if I have a Ninja air fryer, now how am I going to plan? The reason why I'm going to plan is I want to create, like when you're planning something, you're jotting things down, right? So when you are jotting these things down, you're planning with an intention to actually make a statement. So if I want to sell air fryers, I'm going to create commercial content and talk about the best alternative to Ninja air fryers, and then put your brand there. When you put your brand there, that's going to make a clink sound. And that sound is going to be what gets people to understand that your brand is in that same category as that brand. So they should try out that brand and compare. So how are they going to compare your brand with their brand if they don't have information about yours? So you create that by creating an article on your website. And that website has a URL with the word air fryer. So remember, I used a very specific, advanced search with the word air fryer. So when I scroll down and I'm looking at the word air fryer, we're in the holiday season. I hope you guys know where I'm going with this, because people usually air fry their turkey, people air fry their potatoes, people air fry their chicken, they air fry their salmon, right? So if you're in the business of doing that, you have to look at the past year and ask yourself, what has been going on in the past year? What is that one thing that's been going on in the past year that I can do, that was done, that I didn't do last year, that I can do now, that I have the opportunity? So when I'm looking at the results, and the top results I'm seeing here: November 27, 2023, November 15th, 2023, October 25th, 2023, and September 29th, 2023. And then there's a new one, July 17th, 2024, December 8th, 2023. It keeps going on and on and on. Actually, it doesn't. It ends at the bottom of the first page. So April 18, 2024, December 21st, 2023. Okay, so there are only there are only two 2024. This is research, guys. I'm doing like real-time research with you right now. So there are only two 2024 articles on air fryers this year. The rest of them are last year's content. But why are the ones last year ranking this year? Right? Why, like, what's the major difference between those two, right? The difference is when you're creating content in between the year, right? You're creating content to let people know about your product. So the first one that's showing at the top of the search says, should you even bother with an air fryer? Question mark. Now, to me, if I'm buying an air fryer and I see that on Google, I'm going to click that because one, I'm being asked a question and that question needs an answer. And that answer has details. And in those details, those fine lines allow you to understand whether you're going to make an informative decision or not. So if I was going to one up this specific article, what I would do would be to, and please follow me here as I'm going very slowly. What I would do, right, is I would get the brands, the top 4 I saw as brands, and then I'm going to create an article about the top 5 brands, right? Have I worked with, I'm seeing a pop-up, have you worked with Pod e-commerce shops? Yes. Yes, I have. It's full stack. So actually, you know what I'll do? I'm going to put my link here so that if you would like to get on a call with me, we can talk and get the work done. All right. So I love Clubhouse. That's why I give information here. It's podcast friendly and yeah, it's global. So if it was only me in this room, I'd still complete what I was about to say. So I would create top 5. So thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate you. I would take the top 5 brands and I would do a comparison chart. And I would say, like here, should you even bother with an air fryer? I would be like, air fryers that you need this holiday. Top 10 air fryers you need this holiday, right? Those top 10 air fryers, I'm going to get them from the brands that I saw at the top. So if I see one of them is on Amazon or on Best Buy or Target or Walmart, I would connect with those brands and make sure that with those brands, I am also doing a deal with them, a brand deal with them, right? So that I can also get to benefit or also connect them with my community, right? Because before you even go and talk to them or talk to the manager, you need something in your hand. You need something tangible. So I would go SEO wise, write content, tell people about this, blast it out there, do commercial content since there's really no competition because only 2 out of 10 results are this year, right? So I would do the rest and actually focus on that specifically. And then when I do that, right, that's when I would take the next step and start to advertise within that article and actually start talking about the benefits. I'll start talking about the features. I'll start talking about the comparison charts, right? It may take a while for you to do this, but if you do this one time, it's like writing a book and you publish it one time. You'll be reaping off that book. And a page on a website is a web page. It's like taking a page out of a book, but it's a digital framework. So if you're planning for your holidays with advertising and SEO in mind, you're focusing on creating these things using these platforms. So how would you go about similar strategy with pod custom design versus drop shipping? Well, the key here is to build a tenacious platform with your website that is focusing on getting attention to people connecting with you so you can have first party data. Because a lot of us are trying to, like, second guess or go through different things without even looking through what do we even have within our own arsenal. Do we have this capacity to actually scale? If we do we have web pages on the web that can actually give us that insight? If we don't, how can we leverage that? We have to do that and plan. So whether it's Halloween, whether it's Thanksgiving, whether it's Christmas, you have to be very specific on those things. If not, then your competitors are going to take over and you don't even know where they are. What's up, Laurent? How are you? Happy
I'm
Saturday.
sorry for being off mic. My apologies. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. What's going down?
Man, nothing much. Just got off the grill, grilling some meat for the family.
That's what's up. We talk about food here. What you grilling?
Man, my wife likes to eat these lobster tails, so I got lobster tails. We got some brats, and I got some burgers and some wings.
That's a vibe. That's a vibe. Would you air fry your food?
I mean, we do for like chicken nuggets for the boys, for like when we want to they want to have a snack when they go to the park or something like that. We'll air fry some chicken nuggets. But for the most part, I like to cook on the range or I cook on my grill.
Okay. Last question. What brand would you use for, or what brand would you prefer for air fryers?
You know what? I wouldn't even be able to tell you. All I would do is I'd get up and I'd go in my pantry and figure out what air fryer that is. And I would just tell you that brand name, to be honest with you.
I love that. No, I'm glad you answered it like that because that's really what I was expecting. I wasn't gonna expect a name because when you're buying stuff, you're buying it based on the value it's giving to you. You might know the name, you might remember it, you might not even know the name on your fridge. Like you don't even know what the brand is on your refrigerator, right? You may not even realize it. It's like it's literally not even in plain. It's in plain sight, but it's not even in your peripheral at all. But it's there, right? So, wow,
That's
go ahead, go
crazy. No,
ahead.
that's crazy. You're so right. You keep going.
I just look at it from that perspective because that way, when people are trying to figure out, oh, how does it work for this, for that, I'm like, just take the same formula and flip it, and then add your own sauce to it. If everyone can make chicken, baked chicken, fried chicken, grilled chicken, but we're all gonna have a different chicken taste. Every chicken's gonna taste different because of how you put the spice, how you sauce it, how you season it, how you marinate it, right? So all those things are gonna matter. So when you're planning your advertising for the holiday, you're planning by giving people information they can use to buy. So how do they do that? And I talked about the ABC method. So get that ABC method, figure out exactly what it is. Second method, use advanced search on Google. Get those specific brands and talk about the top brands. If you have an Amazon affiliate, even better. Put that there, let people find you because nobody in the last 12 months has been talking about air fryers. And when they talk about them on Google, it's only in October and November. And that's 8 out of 10, and the last two are in 2024. So who else is talking about air fryers than these guys? But these guys are getting the most traffic because Google remembers them a year ago. It's like credit.
Mm, yeah, and I think that's valuable. I would I would be intrigued to ask you, brother. My wife and I have a nonprofit, and now this topic of marketing is a kind of a it just so happens to fall into a popular topic that's occurring right now. It's not a positive one, but we're giving a scholarship away to human traffic survivors, domestic violence, and sexual assault survivors. So, how would I be able to, what do you think proper formats with using SEO? How would I go about releasing this scholarship? Now, here's an interview we've already shot. We have a commercial or a TV interview coming on TV at the beginning of Wednesday. Um, and I'm going to essentially start purchasing ad space for like bus ads and billboards and stuff like that. But in regards of our search engine optimization, of course, we're going to release the interview through a platform where the optimization has already been built, and we're going to use keywords and stuff like that. What other avenues that I just don't know about in regards of branding? I just want to be a sponge a little bit. I'm just kind of like politicking with you. What do you think in regards of digital marketing, other formats in which we could utilize to build our SEO or utilize our SEO to market the interview or the topic in itself?
Before I say anything, I wanted to say welcome, Julie. Thanks for being here. I see as well Dev and Nancy. Thanks for being in the room. So I was doing a quick search for you. I replaced the word air fryer and then I replaced it with domestic violence and scholarships. Now, in the last 12 months, April, September, March, August, January. Yeah, those are the only months in the year, this year, that I'm seeing scholarships regarding what you've said. So if you're thinking about SEO, forget Google. Think about the words you're saying on the web, because Google is part of the World Wide Web. It's not the only search engine. So when you're focusing on optimizing SEO, when someone says SEO, the first thing someone thinks about is Google, or they think about now AI. Oh, I'm just gonna use AI to do my SEO. Huh? That doesn't make any sense because AI does not do SEO. And when I mean by doing, I mean understanding the layers of how it works. Yes, AI is intelligent, it's artificial intelligence, yes. But that intelligence is going to come from yours. You're going to have to enhance it. You'd have to train it. You're not using ChatGPT to build this thing, you're using your brain. So, based on documents you've built, based on research papers you've published, based on articles, podcasts, information you've had, like you think pretty much have a thinking cap, right? That is going to help you take that to the next level so that when you're using SEO, and we call it now search everywhere optimization because it's no longer on as an engine. It's on TikTok, it's on Instagram, it's in your WhatsApp, it's everywhere. So if you want to use SEO correctly in 2024, especially for your cause, your website is going to be your best friend because that website is what's going to show up on the web. Like if I'm not seeing yours here on the web, if I'm searching and I'm getting these results from VAWnet, Financial Aid Finder, the National Center for Victims of Crime, the Texas Law Book, because I'm in Texas, scholarships.com, Zonta USA, bowl.org, trinova.org. These are all great websites. I mean, most of them are probably schools or government sites or foundations, non-profits like yours. So if you're going to be on this page specifically, because they have a toll number here, that you can call if you need that. So right under that call are not articles, pages. So, and if those pages, yeah, I've opened one of them, boom. One of them has a PDF in there. That PDF is information that's going to help somebody learn more about you. So what I'm trying to say here for you is, yeah, you can use the billboards. We do that too. We make sure that you're on the billboards, you're out there correctly, but we do not encourage you to run a billboard ad or even a paid ad if you haven't taken the time to feed the algorithm organically using your sitemap. It's like a harsh truth, but people kind of like say, yeah, whatever, I'll just pay for the ad. Yeah, you can always pay for an ad and get fast impressions. You're paying for it, definitely. But imagine if you didn't pay for it and you still got the same result. Would you still pay for it? So that's the real question here. So I think for you, it's a matter of figuring out where your website is online, authority wise, and where you're showing up otherwise, so that you can create something that, like Dylan is saying, enhance your search, enhance your experience, so that when people are looking for things that you provide, you end up in those search results like Google.
So I try and take um I'm trying to look at it from from a standpoint where the scholarship is like a new entity in itself, right? But the sterile process, that's my me and my wife's nonprofit. What we did was I cheated the SEO, and a sterile processing technician is in the hospital. But the entity that we own is called the sterile process. So essentially, it's a lot easier for somebody to find us in that area um, on an SEO like search engine optimization level, or whether it be Google or any platform, because we separated. You know, we took a topic and essentially branded the theory of it as a whole other entity. So that kind of cheats the search engine optimization a tad bit. Now, when you put education with it, it cheats it even more. And now, when I utilize the scholarship in regards of giving scholarships for this cause, now how I'm going to cheat that search engine optimization is we have this activist whom I've been working really closely with. I introduced her to my wife, and I had the idea to give a scholarship back to what she was an advocate for. And so constantly when she's out at different events, out on social media, because she's interviewed by the news, she's really good friends with the DA, the police department, the county sheriff, everybody who's in this community, right, of where I am. It's kind of cheating it using manpower, but then it's also cheating it using her testimonials in regards of how this process works of the sterile process in itself, and then how the process works of us giving scholarships away to our nonprofit called the sterile process, and then how it works in regards to the the donation of the scholarship. So that in itself is a whole nother entity that I'm in the phases of rolling out so I can be in a public's eye. But I have already geared up with publications and different entities that I've communicated with. Like I just put my wife on TV the other day, and I know that segment's going to come out at a certain point in time, and I know we've already shot a really well high-end video that explains the sterile process, that explains all of this. So I would want it to be released at that same time the TV interview comes out. But at the same time of the TV interview, I'm going to utilize the fact that these publications are here and this publication is there, and they wrote about this there. But I have looked in. We did look in the format of paying for advertisements, but not as much. But I am thinking I'm trying to just put other ways, as many as I can, in my brain of how to roll out this interview in regards of the sterile process um, that we shot. Because one, it's going to drive people to our platform. Two, it's going to it's a platform that's already been built, and the sterile process is one entity, and then it's this whole scholarship is powered by Even Rights. That's another entity that we own. So we've been building that for a time period, but I'm just trying to see and just catch one minor thing if I can of anybody who's released anything, because people release interviews around time frames, and that's how they capitalize. That's how they cheat the search engine optimization in itself. You got a big interview coming out, release something else, or have some merch ready, or whatever it may be. But I'm just trying to make sure I'm covering all my bases right now, because this is really important to us, and we're talking about millions of dollars from donations of schools and Honda, Kia, these big huge companies who are going to help us. And I think I just need to be as creative as possible. That's all. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else, any other way that I could utilize the World Wide Web in how I release this information.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm seeing it. That's why I gave you that notification bell, because I had a light bulb when you said something. So
Mm.
yeah, it's something that definitely would require more discussion. deeper than this, but if you are really serious about this, man, yeah, I put the link in the chat. Please click that link and let's talk. And then after that 15 minutes, we'll know what we're gonna do next because yeah, it just takes one conversation to turn a lot of things around. So if you're serious, because I want to make sure that this is not just, it's serious to you. Yeah, I can feel it. I can hear it in your energy, and I can tell that it's really something that's a project that would be very good to do before the year is over. So that if you do it correctly and we apply SEO to it, it's not only going to be paid media for you, but it'll be earned impressions over time. So we'll talk about that. Thanks for that insight, man. Appreciate you. Okay. This is a great room. We've been here, trying to make sure that we can understand the whole planning process because I felt like it would be good to talk about this a little bit on a weekend and just give you some insights to know how it goes. And it's good to have these examples because I've talked about air fryers and then Ron came in with, chicken and grills and I started talking about those things because I'm like, hey, use advanced search on Google to plan your advertising. So if you want to plan your advertising, create commercial content over the weekend and connect with people like Julie, right? And Laurent too, who's amazing. And connect. Because when you connect with these people, you're technically tapping into a space that you probably would have never been in if you didn't search, right? So if I want to buy, if I want to buy shoes this for Christmas, right? And you sell, you know, let's say you sell yellow shoes. There's some people out there who love yellow shoes, right? So would your article would be yellow shoes or not? Question mark. Now, when someone sees that, they're gonna be like, huh? Who's that? What brand is that? Let me check that out. Then you have different brands talking about different shoes, including yours, and you're giving people an insight of what kind of yellow shoes people should wear. Now you're planning. Thank you, Lauren. I just saw that. You're planning with people, right? You're planning with people's time. That's really what's going on. You're planning with people's time because you're giving somebody a 3 minute read, a 5 minute read to make an informed decision about whether to pay your product or your competitor's product. So looking at those things will be very, very important to look at over time. And if you plan with commercial content and you send it out as an email, you connect to people on your LinkedIn, you have a podcast like this, and you show up online, you will never go wrong. And you start getting a lot of business coming to you without you even trying, not because you're looking for them, but you're actually connecting with them. And that's where the connection starts. Hey, Julie, happy Saturday. How are you?
Sorry about that, Fave. I was just locked out of my phone. I'm great. I'm really great. And I just love hearing every time you speak, I just learn something new. And I'm at like basically halftime in the Alabama football game. So I said, my favorite person in the world, Favour Obasi-ike, is doing a room on Clubhouse. Let's go, everybody.
Let's go. Thank you, Julie. Thanks for being here. And y'all follow Julie. She's amazing. And, she has something called Creative Con coming up next February. So check that out. Make sure that you're there. It's going to be great. And if you want all the details, reach out to her and she will connect with you and give you all the details. Do you want to tell them a little bit about it real quick?
Oh, sorry, sticky thing. And my dog is, it sounds horrible. So I usually don't like to be so annoying with my French bulldog here, who's a snorter. But it is called Creative Con, everybody, and I was kind of giving Favor some details about it. When he told me he did a cold plunge the other day, I got really excited because we're going to have a cold plunge at Creative Con to ignite our creativity. And now that I know Favor likes to do it, I know he'll do it. But it's just a melting pot, an incubator for ideas, for networking, for growing your brand as a creative entrepreneur. Because I know it is so isolating doing what we're doing. So my hope, my dream, my prayer, which kind of kicked off this year. It kicked off. I shouldn't say kind of. It did kick off this year, and to create an experience that propels some momentum for our businesses as solopreneurs, creative entrepreneurs, for authors, podcasters, thought leaders, gurus. I just am so passionate about it. I could talk about it forever. Favor.
No, I love it. No, Julie, you're so right. I can't wait. There's so much value, and I'm looking forward to that cold plunge event. It's, if you said this and I wasn't ready, I wouldn't have done it, but now I think I'm more than ready because I've been doing it now, and it's so therapeutic. Because hey, Anisha, welcome. It's very comfortable. You actually get into the space of like your own zen. The first time I did it, it was like 3 minutes, and then I did it again. It was 5 minutes, and I was like, "Oh, this is easy," So, and I got to learn something new when I was done, after doing the infrared sauna, the vitamin C shower, and the cold plunge. I left and I was talking to, the lady at the front desk, and, she's really cool. And we got to connect the first time I went there. So I went there for the second time yesterday. And she was like, when you're in there, because I was like, oh, I was able to do it. And she's like, oh, that's good. So she told me something which I didn't know. She said that if you go into the cold water, just naturally, if you go into cold water and you get in, and your body starts to like freeze to the point where it feels numb, then it means that you're lacking nutrients, you're lacking minerals, you're lacking some type of substance. So I was like, oh, that's different because I didn't feel that on my, down. I didn't feel it, but I felt it a little bit on my hands, on my arms. So I was like, huh, okay, that makes sense. You know, need some nitric oxide. Exactly. So I was like, huh, this is interesting. So those things also make you know exactly what you're getting into, where you to focus on, and it's a great thing. So I don't know. Do you know about that, Julie?
I have never heard of this before, actually. So I'm again learning something new from you, Favor. Like, details about things I'm just like never even thought to ask questions about. So it's amazing.
Thank you. I just do research and I try to, understand the value of things as I go. So I learned that, yeah, it opens up the blood vessels. Yeah, that's true. Very, very rewarding. So this topic, I put a pumpkin for Halloween. I put turkey for Thanksgiving, and I put a Christmas tree for Christmas. Because if you want to plan your advertising for the holidays with SEO, right now your website should be having commercial content. That's the goal. Commercial content, meaning that you should be having branded content and talking about other brands, or talk about your brand and what your brand is doing that other brands are not doing, and actually mentioning those brands. Because when you have brand mentions and you have keyword mentions, you create alerts. And when you have alerts, people get to be alerted on their system about brands. So if a company is, having a brand phrase, meaning that if anybody on the web talks about them, they get a keyword alert. It happens, right? It happened to me. I was talking about a company called SEO Gets, and the co-founder found my content when I was doing an interview with him on the podcast show, and he's in Silicon Valley. So I was like, how did you find me? He said, yeah, I went on Google and I searched SEO Gets and I saw your article. I'm like, thank God you saw it, because my goal was not to like show that I have it. It was to show that I actually appreciate the brand enough for me to talk about it on my site. And it's a new platform, very new. So it's gonna take some time to grow. But I learned about it on LinkedIn. And I was like, no one's talking about this amazing product. So that's how he found me and we talked about it. So when you write commercial content and then you take it to Pinterest, that's the key. Because when you take it to Pinterest, you're putting people in a planning mode. So if you're putting your content on Pinterest, you're telling people where to go on Pinterest, you're telling them how to use your product. You have product guides, you have FAQs, you have glossaries, you have, things that you can actually let them know, then it's going to be great. So when you're sending these emails, you're not just selling them, oh, 10% off or buy now, get one free. No, those days are gone. You can do those things, but do them in a way that adds value. Instead of doing that, tell them, this is what you would be doing if you use this product. This is how you'd feel if you don't use this product. Let them know the benefits, let them know the defaults, so that they also know how to connect with you. Because when you're advertising to the web, right? I would say right now, if you do billboard advertising, it's going to be a great thing for you. It may sound like it's a lot, but the reward is amazing. There's no way you can reach 1,000 people, 2,000 people in an hour per day, right, Julie?
That's right, Favor. No way. I don't know how you can do that.
Yeah, it's impossible. I mean, it's possible. Everything is possible. Anything is possible. But if we're looking at realistically focusing on hyper targeting on a good location, it has to come from a place. And for you to even hit that target, you're like, when you play darts, imagine playing darts with your eyes closed or blindfolded. You're not really gonna hit that spot. It might get there if you're lucky, but you're not going to be as accurate if you're focusing on it, right? So if you're creating content that's commercially viable, commercially engaging, commercially intentional, and you're putting it on the web and you're using it within your URL, which is your uniform resource locator, then you're going to create more content that will show up on platforms like Pinterest, like Google. And if someone's looking for, we talked about air fryers earlier, right? So if you're looking for those air fryers, how are you going to find the best one? And that has to come in line with how you connect those dots. So doing those things will be a really great, thing for you. Welcome, Brian, to create for you long term, right? So if you plan with the ABC method, with Google Advanced, like I mentioned, and also focusing on creating commercial content, then you're going to go a long way with your business because you're actually reaching the people looking for you. If you have the exact words in your URL, it's only a matter of time because whoever is writing content about the same thing you write might just not be writing enough to compete, right? So these are the things that you have to think about, right? And that's really where things start. When you start things like that, you're able to connect the dots and build long term. So we're going to be doing more workshops. So please click the link above, and we're going to be rolling out a schedule of workshops. We did one in July, and Anisha was there. It was so great to have you there as well, Anisha. And we're talking about AI and SEO and marketing. Now I did some, thinking, I did some processing because I was like, I want to make sure I'm doing this better than I did. So now I've created up a roster of ways of workshops that we can do, and there's going to be one we're doing too, Julie, by the way, on Monday, by the way. So that one is, if you want more information, please, follow me. We'll send you all the details. So there's a lot happening. So if you want to think about advertising workshops, podcasts, Pinterest, AI, you know, anything to do with email marketing too, the link is above. Click it and you won't miss a beat. And we have another, workshop that's also happening on the 1st, October 1st. So if you click this link above, you put your contact information, let us know what you prefer when it comes to workshops, and then you get redirected to that page. You'll be able to get in. And we're going to be talking about in that workshop how to create a podcast schedule with SEO in mind. In other words, how do you prepare your podcast so that anytime you hit publish, the whole world sees your podcast? Because it's such a great feeling to hit publish and then people see it. Like knowing that it's everywhere on the web. Like if you go 24 hours from now and type in the name of that episode, you'll see it on YouTube, you'll see it on iHeart, you'll see it on Pandora, you'll see it on Spotify, on Apple, on you, like it's everywhere, right? And that's a great feeling because the more you're able to do that, you're compounding your business. So imagine your name or your brand name next to the name of a brand that you want to associate with is the title of your podcast, and you're showing up on different platforms with the same episode at the same time in different domains. It's such a beautiful thing. And then you take it to your own place like LinkedIn. you send it out to your email list, it just grows, and then people get to connect with you. A company in London found me on LinkedIn. They have a company they're building in San Francisco, and my podcast is listened to in San Francisco too. And they connected with me, and they were like, "Hey, we want to pay you and pick your brain for an hour." They did it twice last week, this week they did it twice, and I was like, "This is ridiculous. I'm here on Clubhouse talking for free for hours, and these guys are." It's amazing, and it's a blessing because I'm like, "Hey, I'm gonna talk. I'll say what I need to say. Connect to people. People will take action. But the companies that will hear that, they'll be like, 'Yeah, let's pick his brain.'" And now I've connected with them, and now they have about 7 to 8 projects, and I'm ranging between 500 to 1,000 an hour, and now I'm doing with them 500 an hour, and we're doing projects on a weekly basis. So, and we're talking about AI, we're talking about marketing, we're talking about all these things. So, and it came from LinkedIn because I asked them, "How did you find me? Like, I didn't look for you. I'm not running ads. Like, I'm not doing anything to like catch your attention. I'm just talking. It's a blessing." And they were like, "Oh, we saw your review because I left a review on another company's profile in January. We're in September. And I left a review and they said, "Hey, we saw your review. We went to LinkedIn, we saw your profile, we saw you're a founder, we saw your company, and we figured that you'd be the best fit for this. And we wanted to, interview you to see if you actually fit the criteria." And they kind of did like a quick survey on me because they've never talked to me before. And after like 10 minutes, they're like, "Yeah, what's your schedule like? Let's schedule." I'm like, "What is like that?" Then they're like, "Yeah, let's get it on." The next minute, they scheduled it. You sign your papers, you put your bank information, you get on a call, you get your invoice. It's processed in 2 days, and that's it. No questions asked. The next time you come on board, you give information. Like it's just happening. So that happened to me. The first time it happened, I gave tithe. 10%. That's the first thing I did. Because I was like, this, like, that's what came to my mind. I was like, no way, this is actually happening. So I knew that this is a new stream of income that is opening up. I've always wanted to do consulting and it's been happening, but not at this capacity where I don't even have to lift a finger. I'm just talking and I'm connecting with people, and then they now do the investment, the labor, and they do they do the whole 9 yards. It's a great thing to see, but I also know that it takes time, it takes requirements. My LinkedIn is about to hit 10,000 now. I'm 30 followers away from that. So I'm just looking. I'm just like, wow, all these things are happening. But the major goal is to figure out how do you connect all these dots, and how I did it. I'm showing you how I've done it. How did I do it? Podcast, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and Google. I created a website. I built presence. I answered questions. I went live, and I've started building connections. And that's where we are today. So if you want to do the same thing too, it may sound hard, but if you think about, right now, what's the price and what's the cost? If it's going to cost you this in the future or cost you less, if you pay now, then there's a difference, over time. So plan ahead, but also plan with SEO, knowing that the more commercial content you give people, the more brand value you give them so they can actually learn about you, like how you speak, how you talk, what you say, how you say things. So that way people connect with you. If you're very angry, people will not want to work with you. But if you're very calm, then they'll feel like you don't have to stress them out. They don't have to stress you out. So that's about it. I wanted to just bring this to your attention today. And I hope you're able to learn something that will give you more information, long term. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Anisha. And thank you, Dev, for being here. Appreciate you all so much. Hope you have a great night, a great Saturday. And I might do an SEO Sunday tomorrow. We'll see about that. But until then, God bless you. Take care. And I'm going to see you guys soon. Bye.